Ollie.
Okay. Invite some people here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've started doing these question and answer type little sessions on Fridays for those that might be interested in homeschooling. And I just wanted to, give anybody that may have some questions that they weren't sure about the option to ask in private if they wanted to, and then I can answer them publicly for anybody else that might have the same question. So the first question I have today is, what about sports? A lot of people want to know, okay, so what happens with sports if I homeschool my child? Well, they can still play sports. You can register for homeschool through your school district, and they can try out and participate taking that route. Well, if you want to register for homeschool through an umbrella school, through a church-related umbrella school, which is what we do, but my kids don't play sports. But if you want to do that, according to TSSAA, which is the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association, if the child is registered with an umbrella school classified as a Category 4 church-related school, then they do get the opportunity to try out and participate. But there are a little bit of stipulations go along with that. They must be registered by August the 1st, and you must notify the school's athletic director where they're wanting to try out that your child does want to try out. So, that's the easy way to get around that, is you just notify the school, and those are the two ways that you can do that. A lot of people want to know, how do I choose curriculum? How do I know if I'm choosing the right curriculum? And sometimes that's just trial and error. The first thing that I look at is what homeschool method we use, which we're eclectic, which means we pull from different kind of homeschool methods. But you would look at the method that you're using, or maybe the one that you like the most. Maybe you like Charlotte Mason, so you're going to look at Charlotte Mason curriculum. Maybe you like Waldorf, so you're going to look at Waldorf or classical education. Though you would look for curriculums that are specifically targeted towards those methods. The second thing that I look at is time-based. How much time am I going to have? Well, this year, we're going to have a new baby right after school starts. So, I'm looking for stuff that's a little bit more hands-on for my boys, for my older boys, and more hands-off for me. So that maybe I'm just, checking their work and we're moving on to the next thing. So, that's the second thing. You look at how much time you have. And there's a section in the book, in my ebook, Begin Homeschooling in 8 Steps. That's free. It's a free ebook, that talks about a little bit about how to pick those out, and how to choose those curriculums. Base it on your child's learning style. Some kids are more hands-on. Some, they would rather watch you. They can watch and learn. Some, they can listen and learn. but there's a lot that have to do. They have to do it themselves to be able to learn how to learn, and there are different homeschool curriculums that cater to those different types of learners. So you could look at that. What about your child's age? If they're older kids, like I was talking about with my older boys can pretty much do their own work. They do a lot of self-led learning. They do some curriculum where they can teach themselves the lesson. They read over the lesson. They do the exercises that go along with the lesson. Then we look over them together, and if they're having major problems getting something, then that's whenever I step in and we start trying to figure out why they're not getting it and what we can do to make it better. And we don't leave that lesson until they have it down. And then, but they are older. So if you've got younger kids, then yeah, you're going to have to be more hands-on with them, preschool, kindergarten, first, second, and some in the third. By the time they get to the third grade, or at least with my children, by the time they get to the third grade, they're starting to do some stuff on their own. They're being more independent, and that's what you want to work towards, is so that they're not in middle school grades and they're not saying, I need you to come and show me how to do this. You know what I mean? You want them to be able to try themselves. And then if they're having problems, to come and see you and not need you every minute of the day, especially if you have multiple kids, because sometimes you may have littler ones that need more attention than the bigger ones. So, and the fifth thing that I look at as to how I choose curriculum is the amount of money I want to spend. Now, there are free curriculums out there floating around, and there is nothing wrong with those. We have used some of the free curriculum. This past year, we used free curriculum. I mix it up. I like some of them. I do like, and if I don't like them, then I'll look for others. And there are several websites to where you can find free curriculum, and you can find the whole lesson plan. English, math, science, social studies. You can find all of it pretty much free. You just have to be willing to print out, some of the worksheets and some of the PDF documents and things to work with. But there are some really good curriculums that are free, and you can also find some secondhand. There's a website that I like to go to that I buy a lot of ours on is homeschoolclassifieds.com. I buy on eBay. I buy on Amazon. If I find a curriculum that I want to use, I will try to find it used in good condition first before I ever buy it brand new, because curriculum, it's like anything else, it's expensive. So, and you would put more money into curriculum that maybe you could use with other children. If these are consumable books, then you're not going to want to pay as much for them because you're only using them for one child. And then, you've got to either store some of the samples of the work, or you just throw it out altogether. So, I just look at that as wasting money. So I'm not up for that. So I try to save as much as I can, and I buy secondhand, or I, use free curriculum. And a question a lot of people, they ask me, like, what if I don't know all the answers? What if I don't know? Hey, newsflash, I don't know all the answers either. 2 words, answer key. Always get the answer key. Unless they're little bitty and you know that you'll know the answers, kindergarten, first grade, you probably got that covered. You can probably figure that out. Once you start getting into the second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, you may need a little help figuring out what they're talking about. And if that's the case, always, always, always get an answer key. And then that way, to me, answer keys make things move along faster too. And whenever you're homeschooling several kids at a time, you're going to need to move right along and get that grading done and move on to the next thing. So, but most of the curriculums, they provide you or with the answer key, or it can be purchased separately, and they don't usually cost a lot. If you're purchasing it separately, it doesn't usually cost as much as the textbook usually. So from what I've found, and public school teachers, they don't know all the answers either. That's why they get teachers editions. And, a lot of things you will learn as your child is learning. And there's nothing wrong with that either. My kids have taught me quite a bit, and we've learned quite a bit together. And it's been enjoyable. Those are times that, nobody will ever be able to take from us, because that was quality time I got to spend with them, and we actually, enjoyed each other's company and just trying to figure something out. So, sometimes you just learn along with your kids, and that's okay. That's fine. A lot of these questions that people have for about homeschooling, I answer in my free ebook, Begin Homeschooling in 8 Steps. And there's a checklist in there. If you're interested in trying to get started homeschooling with your children or with your child, there's a lot of information to take in, a whole lot. And whenever people contact me at the beginning of the new school year or just before the school year starts, I don't like trying to give them all this information, and I feel like I'm just throwing it at them. And they need to be able to process it. And this was the one way that I thought, well, I can help them too. They can process the information. So, you take it in bite-sized pieces, you process it as you can. You check off the checklist as you get each step done. Once you've decided that that's exactly what you want to do, you check it off and you complete the step and move on. And I find that, if I had that whenever I started homeschooling, I would be I would have been, better equipped. I'll say that. I did get all the steps down, but I kind of felt like I was always forgetting something. I really wasn't, but I felt like that because I didn't have a list. So this is for people that are like me that need a list to do their check marking off. So if you want to get that, there's a link in the description of this video. And you can also check out my website at educatingcampbells.com. You can follow me on Instagram at melanie.educatingcampbells and see what we're doing in our daily life. And if you have any questions, I'll be doing these homeschool Q&As every Friday at 3 p.m. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments of this video, or you can private message me. If you would prefer to remain anonymous, I won't mention your name at all. Just let me know that. And then I will answer your question during the next Q&A session. So just leave me some comments with some questions in them, and I will get to your question next time. So thanks for watching. Y'all have a good weekend and be safe. Bye-bye.